Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you for clicking. Appreciate the support. As you can see, I got my engine hoist back here behind me. So we're gonna jump on today, going ahead and trying to replace the old rusty motor mounts on my Evo 8 and get them looking brand new. So let's jump right into it. But before I get the engine hoist set up, I just wanted to go ahead and show one thing. I went and did a little cleaning off camera, and I really started trying to hone in on trying to get the transmission taken care of. So as you can see, I've gotten it all kind of brushed up. It took forever. That's why I didn't do it on camera. So I went ahead, hit it with some degreaser, just really had to scrub away forever to try to get it to look new again. Went ahead, cleaned up and coated this bracket right here. This guy right here, I went up and cleaned up along with the bolt, but this is a grounding spot, so I didn't want to paint it or anything and mess with the grounds. So this is just gonna stay the way that it is, I guess. But yeah, pretty excited, pretty stoked on the way this has gone through. I am gonna be removing this guy, like I said. So once I have the engine hoist set up and have the motor supported and the trans supported, I am gonna throw a jack stand underneath the trans, take this guy off, and then I'll be able to actually clean up here too, because it'll give me a little bit more room. So pretty excited for the way things are starting to clean up. And so with that being said, I am gonna probably go ahead, throw it on a time lapse, and I am gonna go through and remove the bumper, take this guy off, replace it with the original one that came in the car that's already beat up. So that way, when I am supporting the engine with the hoist, the bolts aren't gonna be scratching up my brand new bracket. So we jump on that, and then I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, as you can see, I have the engine hoist set up more or less behind me. I don't know if I can get out of the way. You can see though it is a little too low at the moment, so I'm gonna have to head and take the hood off. It's pretty easy though, it's just 4 12mm bolts, and then I just gotta remove the lines for the windshield sprayers. So I'm gonna go ahead, take those 4 bolts out, and get this hood removed. You might notice I have a different shirt on. I spilt water on myself, and I am now fighting the noise of landscapers next door. So I did get some stuff done though. I went ahead and got this all set up. For this, I just used some old bolts that I've replaced on this motor since and don't really need anymore. So just got 2 washers, one on either side, a nut, and then a bolt. And then in the back, I just have another setup of washers, nuts, and bolts. So next up, over here, we got one 13mm here, with this bracket holding the line for the power steering pump. Down below here, we have 3 14mm nuts that are holding this mount onto the motor. And then we have right here, this guy and this guy. Not sure yet what the size on it is. It looks like it's like a 16 maybe nut, and then probably the same in the back, but I will confirm in the future. So again, sorry about the noise in the background, but I am gonna go ahead and jump on trying to get those bolts out, set the camera up, and see if we can not break anything. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this 13. See if we can get it loose. The motor has been swapped out, obviously, because this is a GSR motor in an RS shell. So obviously these mounts have been played with in the near past. So hopefully this won't be too big of a deal, and I'll be able to get all these out pretty easily. Okay, now that we got that one out of the way, we can move this line out and try to switch out for the 14mm and get these taken out. Okay, now that we got this 13 out of the way, we can move this line and try to hit these 14s. Hopefully nothing breaks. Okay, so I did go ahead and hit it with some heat because it wasn't really breaking free. And I do have my jack handle. It does not seem like it wants to go though, which makes me a little bit nervous about snapping up a nut or a stud. Okay, so I did go ahead, hit the 3 nuts on the top of the bracket with a ton of heat. It did heat up, that's for sure. There was penetrant in there already. And I went ahead and did use the handle for my jack to try to get just like a little bit more torque. And it just ended up rounding the bolt. So the 14mm socket ended up just spinning in place, rounding the top of the nut. And so now I'm gonna have to try to use an extractor. So I think I might go ahead, try and use the extractor with an impact. Hopefully you'll be able to grip it and then break it free. So I'll probably hit it with a little bit more heat and try to see where we get with it. Okay, so got my M12 impact got a 14 millimeter extractor socket, so we'll see. I mean, how bad can it get, right? And this thing is like not wanting to come off. Let's try again with a 3/8 ratchet. See if maybe we can use this makeshift breaker bar and try to get it done. Oh, it is like just not wanting to come off. So I mean, we did get this one, but I'm just hoping that the other ones might be a little easier, because obviously I need to buy 3 new nuts for this now, most likely. But at least we got it off, right? So I'll probably just throw the impact back on and zip this guy out. I am just gonna go ahead though and point out, this right here might be the first successful extraction of a broken nut or bolt on the channel. So I'll take that as a win. But anyway, it does look like these might be kind of a pain. So instead of boring you guys with me just talking while I'm trying to struggle with a bolt, I'm throwing on the time lapse, and hopefully we'll be able to get these couple out, and then we'll move on to that one big like 16 millimeter bolt. Okay, so I got those 3 nuts off. I did end up having to use the extractor bit, or well, socket, for all of them. I didn't even try on the last one, to be honest, because the way the other ones went, it seemed kind of stupid to even try to use a 14. So just use the extractor bit. It did get it out, which is cool. Like I said, that's the first extractions that actually worked out on the channel, so I'll take that as a win. But I'm gonna go ahead now and try to jump on this bigger bolt. Okay, so I stand corrected. It is a 17 millimeter bolt in the back, and then the front is actually a 20 millimeter socket. So I'm gonna try now to hopefully break this guy free without breaking, you know, the motor mount bolt. Oh, that kind of just broke free like super easily. I didn't have to like really fight with that one. So at least there's that. Okay, so we did go ahead, get this nut off, so now I should be able to just pull this guy, push him, and pull him right out. So let me, yeah, I can't do that while on the camera. So let me grab this guy out and I'll show you what happened. Okay, so this is the bolt, obviously pretty long, 17 millimeter head, 20 millimeter nut. Now this guy should, theoretically, be able to come out now. Should be able to lift up. It's obviously in there snug, but it's coming out. Let me put this down and take it. And so this is kind of where the engine hoist comes into play, because now I'm able to actually take this motor mount bracket out without the motor falling to the ground, obviously. But yeah, so with that, get this guy out. Yeah, it's good because it's looking pretty beat up. All right, so we did go ahead, get that motor mount out. Just want to go ahead and show you the difference between the brand new one and this old crusty one. You can see the actual bushing is just a lot nicer looking. It's starting to rip a little bit around the edges, where here it's not. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead, try to get started on cleaning up some of the hardware that goes along with it. I'm gonna try to clean up that bracket where the studs are that the nuts had a hard time coming off of, and just try to get it all looking sort of nice before we get the new piece put back in. So I'll probably throw it on a time lapse and get going on that, because no one wants to see cleaning. Oh, and on a side note, I am going to be reusing the nuts that I had to use the extractor socket on. I'm only going to use them just to tighten it down and then kind of hold it in place. I likely will keep the hoist in place, but just to take a little bit of pressure off of the hoist, I'm going to go ahead and use those. But I will be ordering new ones and replacing it. As you can see, obviously that isn't super easy to get it done in the car, trying to clean up that little clamp. So I did end up taking it out, and it's not looking good. So this is what we're dealing with. I really wish I could, like, yeah, there we go. You can really see just how rusty it is. I was able to get a little bit of it off, but so basically you have to, this little tab right here, it sits into that hole right there. And in order to get that off, you just have to separate these two pieces from each other. And even when I was doing that, there was rust crinkling off everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw it on another time lapse, and try to clean this guy up a little bit more. And for anyone that follows along at home with my safety recommendations, this is definitely a mask on type of rust. So I went ahead and went through and cleaned up that clamp for the power steering line. And initially my first thought was just buy a new one, but apparently no one has these anymore. They're discontinued. And honestly, with this thing, I got it looking better. I am gonna paint it now with the Rust-Oleum reformer just to try to keep it protected in the future. Went ahead and kind of cleaned up these guys a little bit just to try to put a little more like liquid into them so they're not so dry. I am gonna go ahead and paint this, so I guess I probably won't get this completely buttoned up today, but after I get this painted, I will go ahead and start trying to put that new motor mount in. And if you do need the motor mount part number, it is, that's it right there, MR554434. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this guy installed now. Looks so much better. I'll go ahead and try and line up that bolt. So it's pretty much just going back in just the same way it came out. The stud goes from the back to the front. I had to go ahead and try to clean up the threads a little bit on the bolt itself. Alright, it's through. Clean up the nut as well. And screw that guy back on. Almost there. Okay, now that we got that bolt installed, I'm gonna go ahead and torque down this nut to the suggested torque rating, which is 75 foot-pounds. Okay, so now that we got that one done, we can move on to the other motor mount, which is actually a trans mount right here. So it's looking pretty easy. We got 4 17mm nuts right there. And then I'm not sure about this one. I'll let you guys know after I get it done. Just as a fair warning, I do have my jack down here just supporting the right side of the transmission. Because I mean, it is supported by the engine hoist over here, but just to have a little bit more on the side, I figured I would just, you know, throw the jack under there for safety. But so I'm gonna go ahead, throw it on time lapse, jump on that, and hopefully this one will go a little bit quicker. Got that done. Those nuts definitely were like superseded. They were happy where they were. So it did take a good amount of heat and a lot of strength to be able to break those nuts free. Luckily nothing broke, but I will say there was some casualties in the form of my hand. If you look on the very last nut, I'm not sure if you can see in the video, but it's one of those times where your hand does slip from finally having something release and then you scrape it along a bolt on the engine bay. So be careful, and I guess wear gloves if you don't want to get your fingers all torn up like me. So I'm gonna go ahead, try and jump on this nut back here and the bolt and try to get this mount out. All right, so now that I have my super sick PJ mask Band-Aid on, I'm gonna go jump on this last bolt and nut. It looks like it is gonna be a 17 nut and a 17mm bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on that and hopefully not mess myself up in the process. Okay, let's see if we can get this done. Okay, so it's kind of insane that the transmission mount itself had barely any tension behind it compared to those nuts. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish getting this off, and I'll be able to hopefully just take this guy right off. So just a fair warning, did have to jack the motor up just a little bit more, or not the motor, the trans. Had to jack it up just a little bit more to be able to clear that bolt, to be able to come out of the mount itself. So now I'm gonna go ahead, zip off those couple of nuts, and then we should be able to just take it out. So as it turns out, none of the nuts actually broke free. It's the studs in all of them that actually ended up cracking loose and coming out. So I've removed the studs and the nuts. I guess I'll look into seeing how much it is for a new set of those. And until then, just try to just take this guy out. Hopefully it just comes right out, which I would imagine they designed it that way, but sometimes people don't want to do things that are good for the people working on the cars. So let me try to get this out. Okay, so we got it out. Fair warning though, if you are trying to get it out without scratching any of the paint in here where the mount goes, it's going to be very tough for you. What I had to do is, it was in like that, and I basically had to pull up that way and then kind of slide it out upwards. So it obviously wasn't easy, and this thing is looking like straight garbage. I'd like to get a new one, but I don't know, I guess we'll see how this one cleans up. Okay, so I got it set up. I'm going to go ahead and try and see what I can get cleaned up. And I'm back. So it did clean up pretty well. It's looking honestly pretty rough. The metal itself isn't looking too bad. The bushing is what's kind of looking like not the best. It does still have firmness to it. It's not completely blown out, but it's certainly not looking great. So I mean, you can see it has like a little bit of fraying like around the edges. It does seem like it's like pretty well seated still, which I guess is a good thing. They are getting pretty expensive. I think this piece, like as a whole, it's like 180 bucks. And I would love to spend the money and just get a new one. But I am spending a lot of money on a bunch of like little things that are all adding up. So I'm probably gonna go ahead. This seems like a prime candidate for the Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer. Initially, when you get these brand new, they are black anyway, so it should fit in looking pretty well. So what I'm gonna do probably is go ahead and give this 2 coats of the Rust Reformer on all sides, and then I'll probably go back and do 1 coat of like a gloss finish to match the other side. But that's gonna take a little time, so I'll get that done, and then I'll jump on getting this guy back in the car. All right, looking pretty good. What's up? Future me here, and third wardrobe change of the video. I have been working on painting the transmission mount over here. Show you what I've been doing. So this, it's hard to see in this type of light, but this is 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer and then 1 coat of a gloss black high temp paint. So I have been poking around online. I did find, I think it's possible I might be able to buy just the bushing for this mount. So I'm gonna look into that more and not reinstall it right now. But we do go over here and take a look at the car. So if you look here, all we would do to reinstall the mount would be basically the exact opposite of how we took it out. So we would put the studs, put the mount in, bolt through, nut here, and then the 4 nuts on top. So I did actually go through STM's website, and I found they do sell the studs and they sell the nuts. So I got 4 nuts, 4 new studs for the transmission mount. I didn't really remember it, but I do remember I bought these bushings that go on like the outside of the mount, and apparently I bought a brand new bolt for that mount. So I just went ahead and got 1 extra nut because it's the same size as the studs, just so everything can be new in that general area. Like I think I did say, I think I can get the bushing, so I'm gonna try to go ahead and get my hands on that. If not, just gonna send it and reinstall it. But ultimately, I do have to clean that like right side of the transmission anyway before I reinstall it, and I would like to give it one more coat of the gloss paint before I get it reinstalled. So I guess that's pretty much all I have for this video. Sorry there wasn't like an end result of like all of it being back in, but I mean, ultimately I think you guys understand what's gonna happen when I put that back in. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and if you do enjoy the Evo content, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think we should do to it in the future, and give me your guesses on how long it's gonna take to get this thing on the road, because I'm shooting for mid-June and it's like mid-May now, so maybe mid-July. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, keep wrenching. Later.